Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful garbage mouth, and if you're not into that or weird shit in general, then this is probably not the place for you. Feel free to X out the video here, no harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the swatches and the overall review of the product, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. I actually want to share the time that I was mistaken. Don't they know I'm trying to record? I want to talk about the time that I was actually mistaken for somebody else, and it actually happened at work. And I don't understand this to this day. But anyway, the division that I used to work for was a pretty small team. I would say there was probably about 6 of us. There were some fucking kooky characters in that bunch, which they're gonna be some good stories for future videos. But on this particular moment, it actually has really nothing to do with that team, but more of an event that we all had to attend. At the time, they were changing leadership over, and they wanted to introduce us to the new leadership. It was a very weird, informal, formal kind of meet and greet, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh, it's gonna be in the office, but make sure you dress up and don't look like a fucking homeless person. Like that's kind of how it was. Me and my colleagues, which actually were all women, and we all looked very nice to the best of our abilities anyway, and we were going to meet our new leadership. And so when we're actually in the process of meeting him, I see that him and his assistant are, kind of standing off to the side looking at this sheet of paper. And from a distance, it looks like our internal website's pictures of me and my colleagues. And I imagine what he was trying to do was just kind of match us, our names to who we are standing in front of him, so he wouldn't be like, hi, what's your name? Instead he'd be like,
hi, Teresa, it was very nice to meet you. I heard a lot of great things about you.
I get it, he was trying. So he's going down the line of all the people, and then he gets to me and he goes,
Kelly, it's so great to meet you.
I said, oh, no, I'm not Kelly. He goes,
that's impossible.
How the fuck are you gonna tell me that that's not my name? I said, no, I'm not Kelly, I'm Teresa. He goes,
oh, no, you're Kelly.
So I'm looking at my manager, and she just went like this to me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, how are you not gonna correct him? So I was like, no, my name is Teresa. And then he just looked at me very stern, looked at his assistant and was like,
hold on a second.
Walked away maybe like 5 feet away. But a couple minutes later, he walks over back to me and he's like,
so what's your name?
Teresa. Nice to meet you. So he kind of hesitant about shaking my hand, but he shook my hand and he gave me one of those dead fish hands that I fucking hate. I find, actually, side note, it's either when you meet someone, they give you that dead fish hand, or they grip your hand for life to try to show you that I'm definitely the fucking top in this relationship. And I'm like, ugh, you know what I mean? I don't like that fucking power top shit. Grosses me out. So then he goes on to the next person, introduces himself, and then the last person, who happens to be Kelly, he says to her,
very nice to meet you, Teresa.
So Kelly was like, no, I'm Kelly, that's Teresa, and she points to me, and I'm like this. Which was very creepy, but fuck it, there's no point in turning back now. He then looks at both of us and goes,
you guys look the same.
And then walked away. I wish I had a picture of Kelly, but me and Kelly, we look nothing alike, except we have glasses. Kelly is tall, dark hair, thin. You know what I mean? Yes, we're both white women, but she's tall, dark, blackish kind of hair, thin, glasses, right? And she has bright colorful glasses. And compared to her, I look like Mama June, except I'm not like this all the time. And and my glasses are brown. We look nothing alike. And it fucking made me laugh, because I was like, what a fucking asshole. Funny story, every time he saw me after that, he would just call me Kelly. So, yeah. That happened. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Tartiest Pro Remix palette. But before I give you my overall thoughts, let me read you a little bit about the palette. Tartiest Pro Remix Amazonian Clay Palette retails for $49. Prepare for an expression explosion. We're passionate about pigment, and the sequel to our OG Pro palette came to play. This rich, vibrant 20-shade superstar was formulated to celebrate all forms of art and expression. It's ready to rock your world and remix yourself. Inspired by all forms of art and self-expression, 6 unique finishes: matte, luster, metallic, duochrome shimmer, and floating glitter. 20 all-new pop shades inspired by nature, spin, inspiration, art deco, artist, color explosion, wall art, flow, DIY, ink, beat drop, mixed media, splatter, outside the lines, mic drop, Graphic Graffiti Moonlit Mashup Sway Create. This palette really reminds me of Lady Gaga's Art Pop album, which I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I personally love that album. It's actually one of my favorite Lady Gaga albums, even though I think it was a commercial flop, but whatever. That shit is gold. That's what this reminds me of, and I fucking love it. I think the description of the palette is very much speaks to the aesthetic of this palette. It's a beautiful like paint splatter, and if you, I hope the camera picks this up, but if you move it in a certain way, you can kind of see the paint move. Kind of like that old school hologram shit that we all had growing up. So when you open this girl up, you get a beautiful full-size mirror, which I think is fantastic. And you get 20 shades in a very eye-pleasing layout, which is always really nice. I really like how the background of the palette really matches the cover of the palette, so it brings the aesthetic together completely. This palette has some weight to it. It's not super heavy. It's not really cumbersome to hold. And I like that it kind of sits like this. So if you're traveling or whatever, you can kind of just like pop this guy on and just use this as a mirror to do the rest of your makeup. This is cool. This is definitely really awesome packaging wise. And if you guys are new here, I have a very weird relationship with Tarte. I want to like Tarte, but Tarte don't want to like me. And I think the last palette that I reviewed, which was the pineapple palette, which I will link here if you haven't seen that, fantastic. One, it's a great fucking gift in general, and two, I love the quality of the eyeshadow. When I knew that this palette was going to be an Amazonian clay palette, I really was more interested in purchasing it because I had such a good time playing with those shadows in that palette. The true reason why I really picked this up is because there's a shade in here called Outside the Lines. It appears to look like a wonderful yellow shade. Not quite. It's more of a yellow gold shade. I get so annoyed when I see yellows because sometimes it's like, yes, like that's the yellow that I want, and then it's just to only find out that it's fucking yellow gold, and I'm like, I don't want a yellow gold. I want a yellow. And I was kind of bummed when I looked at it in person. I was like, that's not what I wanted. I think from the pictures online, it looked like a straight up yellow. So it kind of goes to show that what you're looking online may not necessarily be the thing that you actually fucking get. However, but with that said, I was still excited to play around with this palette. I'm glad to say that I actually really fucking like this, more so than I thought I would. I had a lot of fun this morning playing around with it, and I really, you'll kind of notice in my looks, I really gravitated more towards the blues and the greens because honestly, those are the shades that kind of spoke to me in this palette. Not to say that the orange and red didn't, or the purple. I don't know, I just kind of been obsessed with blue and greens lately because I'm always kind of like on a hashtag quest for green, you know what I mean? So keep in mind for this review, I'm only going to be talking about a handful of shades because those are the ones that I use. I didn't have a chance to use them all. Now with that said, the pigmentation is great. I had no problem building up, blending out. What was even more fantastic is that the more of the shimmery metallic shades, you can use them either wet or dry. So for a perfect example of that, this blue shade, which was the shade Artist here, I did not use any sort of setting spray. And as you can tell, it's literally the same shade as what's in the palette. There is some kick up. There is some fallout. The fallout does suck. The little remnants gets all over the place, and especially with blue and green eyeshadows, it just leaves a cast where you just look fucking sick. So I would just recommend either doing that, or if you have to do your base first, just kind of put a lot of powder down to hopefully kind of catch some of that fallout. If not, just kind of buff it out with some concealer. You know, it's definitely not the end of the world, but it's something that is slightly annoying. I had no issue playing with any of these eyeshadows. I had no eye irritation. I'm actually really impressed with the formula of this eyeshadow palette. So I don't own the Tartiest Pro Palette 1, so I can't say that it's exactly the same quality. For me, this quality mirrors the quality that is in the fucking gold pineapple. And I also wanted to kind of show you a comparison side by side because I know the gold pineapple has beautiful, like beautiful blue and green colors. So as you can see, the blues and greens in these palettes are vastly different. Personally, if you actually also been on the fence about this pineapple palette, I wouldn't, because it's actually a really good deal. For $59, you get this, you get a liner, a mascara, and I think like a lipstick or something like that. I love this palette. This is awesome, so I recommend it. My only complaint with this palette is that I wish there were more matte shades and more transition shades. So for this, it's only a tan, a brown, and a black, and that's it. And I just wish there was something else there. I don't know, like anything else. Everything else kind of either has like a shimmer or a luster or a metallic or a duochrome finish. So for me, those are just perfect lip colors. So that was the thing that was missing for me in this palette. I wish there was some sort of transition color. There was something. Do I think that this is a great everyday palette? Absolutely. And I say that because I think that there are really some beautiful shades in here that are super work appropriate. They'll look flattering on everybody, and you can get away with wearing this at work. However, you do have these beautiful pops of color that are going to look so fucking amazing when you get drunk in that bar and start crying hysterically for no fucking reason. So they're gonna look wonderful either way. I really am super impressed with this, and I'm very happy that I picked it up. I don't think currently it's available on their site. They only had it up for 24 hours. However, they should be probably coming back soon, just in time for the holidays. So I would totally recommend picking this up. I think this would be a great gift for yourself or a gift for a loved one if they like the Tarte Amazonian clay formula. The only bad thing about this is that I wish there were more matte shades and more transition shades, but while yes, you can definitely achieve many fucking looks with just this palette alone, you might have to use like like another palette just for more transition options. So just kind of keeping that out there. And yeah, all right, I guess that's about it. I know, Tarte, you're fucking impressing me lately. What is this? Are the tides changing? Are we falling in love again? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what the next fucking launch. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for the notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.